This video was made possible by General Tyre, anywhere is possible.
If you drive a vehicle with a light rear end, like this pickup truck, and encounter snow on tyres that aren't entirely snow appropriate, traction can be your enemy. The traditional fix for these traction issues is chuck a load of weight in the back over the rear axle and your rear tyres should dig in and you should be able to get places where you couldn't ordinarily. I'm not entirely sure this is true, so to find out, I've teamed up with General Tyre, as this is a very American problem. I've got a set of their excellent mud terrain tyres on, the General Grabber X3, and I'm using a not so American pickup truck, a VW Amarok. To test this theory, we're going to do two separate tests. We're going to do the real world hill start on both packed and deep snow, both unloaded and loaded, to see what the differences are. Then we're going to move to snow handling, test it unloaded and loaded to see if putting a load of weight in the rear really messes up the balance of the vehicle when it comes to cornering. The weight distribution is about 55-45, so it's about an extra 200 kilos at the front, and coincidentally, the 6 tyres we've loaded in the back weigh just over 200 kilos, or about 450 pounds. So running this with 50-50 weight distribution in rear-wheel drive mode only, it should be a sports truck. Let's go find out what happens. Okay, so the natural enemy of the pickup truck with that light rear axle is the slight incline, and at General's test facility, it's not a very big one. It's about 5 to 10 degrees, but we have the two types of surfaces. We have this side, which is the really packed snow, and that side, which is the deeper snow. So I'm going to try on both sides, and at the moment I'm unladened. It didn't feel too confidence inspiring getting to this point, which is stopped on the hill. So I'm not holding out hope, but we shall see. Traction control is on, and we shall use the hill start, and we've got nowhere. Okay, let's try traction control off. For interest of fairness, I'll roll back a little bit to some fresh ground, and no, I don't. You can hear we're not going anywhere. Okay, so unladened, packed snow, not good. But let's move across to the thicker snow. Okay, so here we are on a similar position on the deeper snow. So it's about 4 to 5 inches of crunchy snow. Maybe the extra depth will give the X3 something to bite into and move. So we're just gonna try again like before. And I feel like we are just digging our own hole. Yeah, literally no chance of moving this. Honestly, now I'm doing this, I don't think adding the weight is going to make any difference because this is impossible. Come on. Nope. Okay, but what you can do in this truck, switch it into 4-wheel drive mode, and fingers crossed, I mean, that's the difference of 4-wheel drive. Okay, so now we know 4-wheel drive works. We are going to go and load up the tyres and see if it makes any difference. The tyres, as I said in the intro, about 220 kilos, so that should bring the weight balance of the truck back, and most importantly, it's going to be pressing a lot more of the weight over the rear axle. So hopefully in 2-wheel drive mode, they should be able to dig in. The tyres are loaded. I'm in the same spot as I was unloaded on the pack side, and I'm not entirely confident, but let's see. Oh my God, it worked. It actually got us going. That's surprising. Okay, so that was relatively easy compared to the unloading, which didn't get us anywhere. Now let's go try the harder, crunchy, thicker snow side, because that was even trickier. Okay, here I am on the deeper, crunchier, thicker snow side, and I'm loaded up and I'm not entirely confident again, but I was surprised that side. So let's see whether the weight can really work miracles. And well, weight makes a difference. So the question is answered. Does weight give you extra traction if you wallop it over the rear axle? Well, yes, it does. That kind of makes sense logically anyway, because you can get more grip by pushing down more on the rear tyres for traction. My next question is, what does it do to the handling of the truck? Because that extra weight over the rear axle, in my head, surely it's going to bring on some oversteers. There's one way to find out, and I'm very thankful for General Tyres for allowing me the opportunity to do this. We're going to go around the circuit.
To validate our findings, we ran some braking and traction tests with measuring equipment. Going from unloaded to loaded and two-wheel drive mode dropped the 0 to 20 time down from 9.32 seconds to 7.68 seconds, and switching into four-wheel drive mode when loaded further reduced the 0 to 20 times down to 3.9 seconds. Braking from 40 to 20 kph was extremely close between the unloaded and loaded pickup, showing how with snow and blocky mud terrain tyres, weight isn't the penalty it is on other surfaces.
So snow handling, as you might be able to hear, traction is the biggest problem in this pickup truck. It has a light bum. We found out on the hill that without the load in the back, the traction isn't the best. And let me tell you, snow handling on mud terrain tyres, well, it's not the Raptor from the US video, but these are mud terrain tyres and they're not designed for snow. So everything's a bit fast and a little bit drifty, but good fun, good controllable fun. How does the tyre and vehicle feel? Well, as you would expect, there's no real imbalance between braking and steering, so you don't get any surprises from the front axle. The grip isn't super high and the steering's a little bit slow, but it's a mud terrain tyre, so we can allow that. The issue is, as we found out on the hill, traction. So anytime you try and put the power down out of any corner, this is the 3-litre V6 diesel, so it's got a lot of torque, but you just end up spinning away. The lap time was a 105.6, so that's the time we've set over a couple of laps averaged, and we're going to see if we can make that any quicker with the weight in the back. Will the traction advantage help, or will the extra weight over the rear axle turn this big old truck into even more of an oversteery monster? I don't actually know what to expect, so I'm really excited about finding out which way this is going to go. I'm going to go load up those tyres. Okay, here we are, loaded up with 200 plus kilos of tyres. How does the truck feel? Well, traction, noticeably better. And I know we've just proven that on the hill, but this is the first time I've driven in anger, because on the way to the hill, we were just driving at normal road speeds, and the traction coming out of corners doesn't quite feel like four-wheel drive, but it's a significant upgrade. It feels like another tyre category, maybe like an all-season or a winter tyre. You're just launching out the corners where you couldn't before. Has that extra traction ruined the rest of the handling like I thought it might? I thought it might induce some oversteer. Well, to my surprise, no. The overall balance is broadly similar. If anything, it's picked up a tiny bit of understeer going into the corners, but the brakes feel better, surprisingly. I guess that's because the rear tyres are actually getting to do something with the rear brakes. And the mid-corner, there's no more oversteer than there was. I guess the weight of the tyres in the boot are allowing the rear wheels to actually grip in. The time, nearly 4 seconds faster, which is a really significant jump around this fairly short lap. So I'm shocked, but I guess this is a long truck. It is a soft suspension, and the weight balance before was more nose heavy. So now we've evened out the weight balance. I guess it's just a little bit more of a balanced thing. It's not like you can't feel the weight. You definitely know the weight's there. It just hasn't ruined anything, and it's improved traction. So there you go. The answer, can you improve your performance in snow, your traction in snow with weight over the rear? Yes, you can, as proven on the hill. And is it going to ruin the handling of your vehicle when you get to some twisty bits? Well, in this case, no. But don't think you can add 200 kilos to the back of your 911 and make it faster. That's not a thing. Snow's a slightly unique thing, along with sand and mud. It doesn't really apply to dry and wet handling, so that's not how grip works in the dry and wet. Otherwise, F1 cars would just be a million kilos and they'd be the fastest things in the world. Thank you again to General Tyre for allowing me to answer this question. I hope you found it interesting. Thanks for watching, and as always, safe motoring. Bonus footage. As I'm a child, I did what every good child should do, and I stuck it in four-wheel drive mode, and I'm just about to finish a lap. You launch out the corners like warp speed. It's like a hyperdrive. I'm going to do the Kessel run in about 9 parsecs. And the time, oh God, that's so tight. The time is 1:29. That wasn't even the neatest of laps. So there you go, 7 seconds by driving the front wheels. Okay, that's really good fun. I thought four-wheel drive would make everything boring in a pickup truck. Fair play VW, you've done a good job. That was intense. So you are 4 seconds by putting some weight in the back, and another 7 seconds by driving the front wheels. That was a lap.